But last week, the left lane was definitely tighter than the right lane, and it looks like it's no different on this tough bare oil pattern. You take a look at the ball marks that the balls are putting down. Look at the right lane. You can see that the players are actually left of 20. The right lane, the players are on top of 20. But I promise you this, with E.J. Tackett's power, he's going to be deeper than any of the right-handers, especially John Zerbinski. Can John Zerbinski keep the momentum going? Looks like he's making a ball change on the left lane to start the match against E.J. Tackett.
Really good shot. Keep it 30. Keep it. Zerbinski gets us started. And a great beginning.
Dom, you like that ball change?
Yeah, I really do. I think that left lane was getting a little bit too snug for him. He's staying with the big ball. He's balled down to something a little bit cleaner, kind of what Josh was trying to see, but with a little bit more rev rate, a little bit more rotation off John Zerbinski's hand, creating a little bit more angle down lane.
Here's E.J. Tackett, 24 years old, from Huntington, Indiana. Fourth-year pro. Gets, wow, 10 down.
Yeah, I really like EJ right now. I think he's been on TV and he hasn't had the best run of it. And but the guys he had to bowl on TV before didn't exactly help the transition that EJ likes to have in front of him. By what I mean by that is the bowlers and what Randy explained about the track lines that you can see. Now normally he's always bowling on the same show as Belmo. Belmo can hook the ball more than EJ. Here EJ hooks the ball the most out of anybody on the show.
EJ 1-6, Dom, career on TV. To your point, 191.57 average. 6 shows. 0-3 in title matches on TV. Changes. Confident look and a great start.
I was speaking with the ball reps before I went down and saw everybody, and Brett Spangler, the motor ball rep, was actually saying before when he's made TV shows he's had to use high RG bowling balls. That means bowling balls that are very uncontrollable, very snappy, but because of the nature of what we're bowling on today, the higher friction surface as well that we're bowling on, he can use a low RG ball, something that's a lot more controllable and something that's going to help EJ with his nerves and with his ball reaction for today's telecast.
Interesting. Let's keep an eye on all that. Frame. Avoids that disastrous 7-10. Just a 7-pin now for John. At 28 years old, trying for his first ever title. Home center transit lanes in Williamsville outside Buffalo.
So John's staying with the same ball in the right lane. Almost 7-10 again.
Yeah, I mean, at what point do you say it's too much angle for an asymmetrical ball? Take a look and see how E.J. Tackett's playing the right lane. That is about 24 at the arrows. Zerbinski, about 21 at the arrows.
Yeah, probably where they're sliding isn't that dissimilar, but John's getting it back from a lot further to the right, and maybe it's a little bit behind the head pin, where EJ's getting a lot more mid-lane roll.
Come on.
You know, Dom, to me, that's the difference in rev rate. That's what I talked about at the start of the telecast. John Zerbinski's got such a great game, but he doesn't overwhelm you. When you watch E.J. Tackett, overwhelms everybody because of his frame and how much power he's creating. And oh, by the way, throwing a 16-pound bowling ball. He's got that wow factor. If John Zerbinski could increase his rev rate by 100, he would be unbelievable.
Yeah, he would. It's just a little bit too refined to have a high rev rate, I think. Well, I'm really kind of, I wouldn't say disappointed. I think they've missed an opportunity. The 3 guys that were on the show that we've seen at the start of the show, Van Hees, Blanchard, and John Zerbinski, they have low rev rates. They could have got together and said, hey, one of us is going to be playing EJ and hopefully on to play Jesper. So why don't we start off a little bit further right, get away from EJ, and then go into our A game around second arrow instead of, by this point, they'd be at third arrow in 3 games later, instead of being left of 20 into EJ's hands, really, into his
wheelhouse.
Exactly. I think that's just a little bit of inexperience that we saw on the show when we were talking about Jesper being probably the most experienced. And I think if you would have saw Chris Barnes on the show, Bill O'Neill, they probably would have had that conversation and said, hey, one of us is going to get there. Let's give ourselves the best opportunity, where I don't think these guys have really done that at the moment.
EJ's arsenal.
So he's using his strongest ball in his bag, the Jackal LE. And as Brett Spangler was telling me before, it's low RG, picks up early, and is pretty smooth for a strong bowling ball, I believe.
All 10 down.
Brett Spangler being the Motive Tour rep. RG refers to radius of gyration. EJ Tackett, 1-6 with a 191 average in 6 appearances on television, trying to change that. Former Harry Golden Rookie of the Year. Now it's time for John Zerbinski to get back in this match, and quite honestly, here with a double in the 4th and 5th frame, he can take the lead by 1.
Yeah, it's just about getting back and striking. It's looking a little bit laboured though. But yeah, John likes that right lane a little bit more. He needs to find a way to strike on the left lane.
Josh Blanchard in our previous match, former Rookie of the Year. Jesper Svensson, our tournament leader. Reigning Rookie of the Year. There you go.
EJ 2012, 2013. Pretty cool. 3 of the 5 guys. Wow. Top 3 seeds. Our Bear Open here today in Allen Park. Close match. Zerbinski to go up 19 pins. High, and the 10-pin stands.
So if you notice, he went back to the strong ball, the lock on the left lane. So the high road that he was using was going a little bit too long, a little bit too much oil down lane. So he's gone back to the ball he was using in previous games. But it came off a little bit harder than he thought.
Down 9, not up 9 there. Shot, there's 10-pin. And it's spare in the 5th frame. EJ Tackett's got the 9-pin lead, works in a strike. 5th frame for EJ.
Dom, real quick, how much of what EJ Tackett is doing is influencing John Zerbinski's decision making?
Yeah, I think it's a lot, and I think the fact that you can see on the lane where everybody's played, it's actually making him go further left than he probably needs to be.
All 10 down for EJ Tackett. As we told you, 1-6 in his career on TV, 0-3 in title matches. What about those struggles, EJ? How do you deal with that?
You know, I've only been on tour for 4 years. I know I'm still young, but it's also been 3 years since I made my first show, and I feel like I've gotten better on TV since then. So, you know, for me, it's been a slow progress, but I think eventually I'll get there to where I'm able to at least perform well on TV. You know, I'm not going to win every match, I understand that, but at least go on TV and perform well.
There's 10-pin. Trying to change the trend, guys. Not easy when you've had a career of struggles on television.
Again, he's young. I wouldn't call it a career yet of struggles on TV. You know, if you look back at the great Hall of Famer Amleto Monticelli, he didn't win forever and then went on to win 19 times in a Hall of Fame career. I think the interesting thing, though, in talking with EJ is that he said he loves U.S. Open type oil patterns.
Watch it. Oh, missed that
Good job, EJ. Second one you missed all week. Good job.
That changes things dramatically here. Halfway point, Bear Open. 2-seed EJ Tackett with an open frame. John Zerbinski looks to take advantage when we return. There's your score. Zerbinski, Tackett head-to-head here at the Bear Open. Time now for the Columbia 300 Fun Fact. Let's go back to our Master of Ceremonies, Dennis McHenry.
That's right. It's time for our Columbia 300 Fun Fact. What is your name?
My name's Jackie Bowling.
And where are you from?
I'm from Detroit.
All right, so we're going to ask you a question. If you get it right, you will win a prize. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. Who is the youngest player on today's telecast? Is it A, Jesper Svensson, B, E.J. Tackett, C, Josh Blanchard, D, John Zerbinski, or E, John Van Hees? What do you think?
I think that's an easy one. I'm going to go with A, Jesper.
That is correct. Let's give her some, let's make some noise for her, ladies and gentlemen. So you're going to take home an autographed bowling pin courtesy of PBA. Congratulations.
All right, back to the match, okay?
Just saying. It's good to see Jackie back. She had a bad car accident a couple weeks ago, and good to see her feeling better.
Absolutely.
Now, John Zerbinski, double to take the lead.
How about it, John? Messenger just misses that 10-pin.
Dom, too much angle for that bowling ball?
It's not the right ball.
Or too much angle in general?
I think he feels like he needs the angle. Now, I'm not sure what sort of bowling balls he could change to make it start earlier and continue harder. It's probably the hardest combination to do. That's what EJ does so well.
What would you do?
I think he probably just needs to back right a little bit so he can get the ball to face up a little bit earlier, face up a little bit stronger into the pocket. But because you can visually see where everybody's bowled, you kind of feel like you have to be left of that, so his angles are that steep in the front, and that's what's causing that lazy ball reaction.
There's Don Barrett, four-time PBA Tour titleist, major champion with Randy Peterson, Hall of Fame commentator, and I'm Dave Ryan in the booth here, Allen Park, Michigan. Great to have you with us. Dom, our guest commentator for this show. Seventh frame, works on a spare. Good looking shot. All 10 down, 60 feet to success for
Yes! I was waiting for that for 2 weeks now. Now, to me, Dom, this shot here looks like he gets more on it at the bottom and makes that ball true up.
Well, you should have been a two-hander. All you want to do is add rev rate. There's other tricks in the bag if you're one-handed. I don't know if he hit it harder, what he did, if he threw it harder and squared up. It's kind of hard to say without.
Meeting of the minds. Tour reps trying to help him out. EJ. Wow. All 10 down.
Finish your thought.
But I think really just getting the ball to roll. However he has to do it, everybody has their own tricks. But he's definitely need to try to get the ball to roll harder into the pocket to strike, and he managed to do that the last time.
This guy can do it. What is he, all of about $120? Look at that position. And just explodes on it at the bottom of the swing. That out to in swing.
I think what gets missed with VJ is how clean his release is. He has all that power with no grab. He gets out of it so clean, into the lane very, very nice, and then he just has all that power that comes off the middle lane into the back end of the pattern.
Not that time.
Yeah, he's really put himself in a bad spot with the whiff on the 10-pin in the 6th. Even though he still has a small lead, he whiffs that spare and then gets this one wide of target, comes in light, leaving the 2-4-8. The left lane tighter than the right lane. You can see it how the players are playing them right at the arrows. You can see the lines on the lanes, and that's not the lane you want to get it far right on. That needs a hook.
It does nicely. EJ turning average at 222.33 heading in as our 2 seed. We've got a great finish possibly coming up here, guys.
And I think that if you have a look at how we're talking about the game that's progressed and how that EJ can strike whenever he wants to, it feels like, because he has that power, and with John struggling to carry, John's about to have an opportunity to have 4 strikes in the game and 4 9 spares and actually be in the lead. EJ's had an 8 count, a 7 count, and a 9 miss, and 2 doubles. John hasn't had any of that.
Ball change.
Oh!
Well, he went back to the ball that he tried on the left lane, it looks like, and carries a double, carries that nice wally there. But right now, there's nothing EJ Tackett can do about this game. John Zerbinski can strike out and shut out EJ Tackett. EJ can only strike out for 225. Zerbinski can shoot 238.
Works on a double, 4 strikes in the match now for John Zerbinski.
Interesting, the big ball on the left lane, the symmetrical ball on the right lane. Remember, early on, it was the exact opposite.
And if we think about what we've heard about this pair, with the left lane being tighter, this makes more sense now.
Without question. That's why I really wondered, why do you go to the weaker ball in the tighter lane?
Comes in high, avoided that split, but it is the 4-7.
Well, Dom, just to pinch up the lane and went through the face, but a nice break. Zerbinski with a spare will have a 1-pin lead. Just doesn't feed it far enough to the right.
Yeah, we are bowling on the near enough flat condition. It's now 1.3 to 1, but it's still no forgiveness on this condition whatsoever.
Oh, John. Out.
Oh, he missed it. The 4 stands. Wow.
Well, there's a gift for E.J. Tackett. Christmas coming early.
Yeah, he got that big double. He celebrated in between frames. You watch someone like Norm Duke, who's been on TV and one of the best match play bowlers that we have on tour. He always tells everyone, well, he doesn't tell everyone, he tells himself to calm down, stay in that moment. John didn't quite do that then.
Start looking ahead.
E.J. Tackett sees the opening. And the foundation frame takes advantage.
Great shot from EJ.
You get ahead of yourself and bad things happen, and that's what happened in the 9th frame for Zerbinski.
So now we're in a position where EJ just needs to fill 20 pins to win. He gets a strike and it's a double, and he just needs count, or he goes spare strike to win.
Late opens. How many times he made that spare? Thousands in his career. What he needs now, EJ, to shut, but that comes in high. Hang on a second.
Didn't hook last
and
time.
a 6-pin count.
That's perfect.
So I think EJ's done the wrong thing there. He didn't let go of that one anywhere near as clean, and yet he's blaming the lane. I think if he ever watches the show back and he sees what went wrong or what he could have done better, he needs to see that that wasn't the lane, that was all him. But he has to make the spare and strike, and he can win.
Using a plastic spare ball, throwing it straight. I mean, this is just
incredible.
A bad demonstration of spare shooting. I mean,
returning the favor, guys.
I think that's all the struggles that EJ's had just come out all in one frame there. A great 9th frame and a shocking 10th.
He looked down as soon as he released it. He knew he was going to miss that 6-pin. Oh.
So now we've got the two guys who haven't really got that much experience. Now John is in a position where he needs to fill 20 pins in the frame to win. Spare strike or strike spare.
Just changed balls last time on this lane and went light.
That's what John needs.
Look. Oh, that's out.
Hits.
Unbelievable.
2-8-10.
That's way too fast. Kind of feel a little bit for John, because I don't think that shot is as bad as he thinks it is. It's just, you know, he changed ball in the 8th frame, had to throw it again in the 10th. It's a very tough thing to go up and do. And unfortunately for him, he's left the dreaded 2-8-10. Spareable, Randy?
Gotta have this, guys.
Got to throw it hard and straight at the 2-8 and hope to bounce one out.
Needs the spare.
Shoot
or
it.
Lose it. 8 stands.
Good try.
And E.J. Tackett on the bench after his whiffed 6-pin, wins by 10 in a wild finish at the Bear Open here in Allen Park. The bottom line, the 2-seed E.J. Tackett survives. Jesper Svensson, the number 1 seed, is next. Entertaining finish. Some missed spares, and E.J. Tackett survives by 10 pins over John Zerbinski. E.J. going for a championship today is going to face Jesper Svensson of Gothenburg, Sweden, the number 1 seed. 21 years old, youngest ever to win the TOC. That was at age 20, and he told us about that experience and the memories of winning the Tournament of Champions.
I couldn't really believe it when it actually happened. I mean, that was my first TOC as well, so I just tried to go there and get some good experience and stuff, and then a couple of days later I was standing there with the trophy, so that was just unbelievable. And yeah, I'm first major and the youngest ever to win the tournament. That was just unbelievable. It was great.
And he'd like to get another title here in suburban Detroit today. Who stands in his way? The 2 seed, E.J. Tackett. It's the championship match, and it's coming your way next on CBS Sports Network.